I was thinking to myself one day that I wanted to create some extra storage for my car. Maybe like a small console or something in between the front seat, the back seat, just right in the middle there. There's some extra room, some extra space that is taken up. And I was thinking to myself, well, I could just 3D print a container, just a blank container, store a lot of extra stuff, very, very practical, very, very useful. But then I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to do something useful. I'm going to do something that's practically useless that no one will use. Can I create some over-engineered container that I can put there that's incredibly loud and annoying and can maybe fit a bag of chips? Can I do something like that? And I thought to myself, yeah, maybe I could. And then I set about this journey. All right, here is my 2018 Kona, and I wanted to design like a little insert that goes in here and maybe stores things. Maybe I'll make it a little bit fancy. So I put a collection of these reflective dots on here, and I didn't get any footage of me actually doing the scanning with my Creality Raptor scanner, but I managed to get it scanned and input in here. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Hopefully this is enough to actually do some modeling around, and I can at least capture the shape, capture the contours. My only concern is this area here, just to make sure that I have enough detail in there to capture the curve in Fusion 360. And let's see what I can design. Okay, so you can see what I created here. And it's all based around the scan that I made in Creality Scans. You can see the 3D scan that I did here and how it fits in between. So it fits pretty good, I would say. Let me show you how it'll operate. So it will go up. I just move it up, and it will go down. And yeah, you could pretty much store maybe a single bag of chips in there. So I love that it takes up all this room, and you could pretty much store maybe a chocolate bar. But let's take a look with the car body component off, and I can show you a little bit about it. So we have two limit switches here, and when I drive this joint, you can see that this little block will hit the limit switch and then turn this off, and then hit the bottom limit switch to turn it off at the lower position as well. This is all based off of some rack and pinion gears. If I can get this thing to zoom in properly. Let me show you how this works. So you could see it's scrolling up and scrolling down. And yes, I have 4 stepper motors. Another rack and pinion on the other side. So this is how it looks. Put it back there and put the car body on, and that's it. Okay, here's a little rig I made just to test the stepper motors and how it's connected. So I got 2 here, 2 on this side. I finally completed all the electronics using an Arduino Pro here, or sorry, an Arduino Nano. I have the stepper motor controllers here. I got a capacitor here to level out the signal. So this is all wired up. I know it looks ugly. I got a DC to DC buck converter here just to stabilize the 12 volts that I have coming out of my power supply. So the way that this works is that I should be able to press the button. And I used to have the rails. So here are the rails that I had here. It was really nice. But I found that it was actually quite tight up against the slot, this little dovetail slot that I put here. So I'm gonna have to tune this up a little bit, but the rails would go in here, and then if they go up, then this thing goes up, and if it goes down, it goes down. This little nub that I have there is for toothpicks, and the toothpicks are to trigger these limit switches up and down, which represent, and obviously it'll be a lot longer, but this is what represents the inside of the box and where the box will actually press up against the limit switches to hopefully stop the movement. So without further ado, let me press the button here. I do have 12 volts coming out of the power supply. Should start off down. I know it's quite loud. I'll sort that out afterwards. And then eventually there's a little lip that will come here and then stop it. And that's perfect. And then it should reverse direction if I press the button again, which would lift the box up. Perfect. And then when go up, go up, go up, push the limit switch. And there you go. All right, let me see if I can narrate for you exactly what I'm doing here. I'm adding some crazy glue, testing if it connects and works properly. I have a couple of pins there that I'm using to line things up and make sure that they stick. And those are both the sides. I really do move this fast, by the way. This is what happens when you have a couple of monster drinks. So now I'm just lubricating. I'm getting the threaded inserts and I am melting them into the side. And then I have a rail that I'm attaching on there so that it has something stable to slide on, if you remember from the 3D model. So I'm just putting them in on both sides and just doing a little test fit to see if it works. And this is the middle container. I made a template just to make sure that I place things in the right position. So now I'm gluing it in place just to make sure that the template sticks. Yep, making sure that it's all stuck on there nice and tight. That's great. I can line it up good. So that's the stepper motor bracket that I'm attaching there with a couple of screws. Look around, make sure I'm tightening it properly, trying to find it. Trying to find the hole in there. Oh, found the hole. There we go. And just testing it to make sure that it fits inside properly. And there is the mess of electronics. So now it's time to take everything out of that test rig, put it all in here, get it all fitted up, tighten it in, squeeze it in. Oh man, this took forever. That one there, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just might have printed. I printed maybe a little bit too snug. So there I am trying to hammer it down, screw it all in place, rethinking my life. Look at all those wires. What a mess. What an absolute mess. So screwing them all down in place, rethinking my life. And then here I am getting the rail installed, putting that in, making sure that it fits right on the outside of the box so that it can slide across the rails. Getting it all fitted up nicely. Look at me go. And doing the other side, getting a light, rethinking my life, making sure I label the wires because I'm going to shorten them here. I don't want them to be like 5 feet long. So I label each side, make sure I get the labeling correct. And then eventually I do cut this. I don't know if I do it on camera or off camera, but I do cut it. Here I am testing a side, trying to cram in all the electronics into that tiny little area. Maybe if one other person on Earth decides that they want something practically useless as well, I'll make a circuit board for it. So here I am routing the wire through the hole, and that will eventually go through the front console. And I eventually stick that in place on one side, and then I put it together. Okay, I finally got this thing working. I think I switched up the wires inside, and it's so loud and incredibly impractical, but let's see. And it'll hold it up, and then you push the button again. Oh, so horribly loud. Here is it with the lid fully on. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be. I mean, look at all the space I'm wasting for electronics that I could use for storage. It could store an incredibly small amount, but it's done. Push the button. Yep. Super loud. I can just go ahead and, oh, I need to get my little extender here. Put that in the box. There we go. Store that for later. But, you know, at least it fits in the back seat. And grab it. Oh, thank goodness. I was looking for this everywhere. There we go. All done.